Thank you, Madam Speaker. This new government is focused on rolling out the most ambitious affordable housing plan that Canada has ever seen. And we expect the members opposite.
We are releasing the most comprehensive and ambitious housing plan ever seen in Canada.
Rolling out the most ambitious affordable housing plan.
My deepest condolences to the late Mark Carney, and as someone
those figures are inaccurate. It's misinformation. This new government is hard at work to improve our immigration system.
I got those numbers from the minister's website. I went on the website and I read them.
Thanks for the update, but what about a budget? Canadians deserve real fiscal management.
Speaker, I realize he's new here, but all those things would be in a budget if he paid a lot.
Unlike the members opposite, we know how to grow this economy without spending money. And that's why we're proposing. That's why we're proposing.
If photo ops and phony rhetoric actually got things done in this country, then Justin Trudeau would still be Prime Minister.
Does the minister know what an RPAL is?
I'm a minister. I do not. Member.
Does the minister know what the CFSC is?
I'm a minister. I do not know. Member.
I'll stipulate, Chair, that is the Canadian firearm safety course that all gun owners in Canada have to do to get their firearms license.
What are the classifications of firearms?
But it is to ensure. Member.
He's getting past a note right now with them. Without looking at that note, what are the classifications for firearms in Canada? He's a public...
I'm a minister. Restricted, non-restricted, and prohibited, Mr. Speaker.
Sure. Mr. Speaker, this is the public safety minister. Somebody passed him a note.
Wow, so Rose Barton found a way to defend Bill C2. And I wasn't expecting her to actually pull this one off the way she did. She's actually I think calling her retard is insulting for retards. Like, seriously, man, Bill C2, it's a bill that's supposed to be about border security, but they're including a bunch of things from Bill 63, the Online Harms Act, that was actually, canceled when they prorogued the Parliament. There's a bunch of things there that I think violates, Canadian rights, especially privacy. They're making transactions paid in cash of $10,000 or more illegal. Even if it's 5 times $2,000, it's going to be illegal. In Quebec, it's already like that. So you already have, to tell the bank in Quebec, you already have to explain to the bank why you need to take out $2,000. It's ridiculous, man. So if you get arrested with $2,000 in Quebec, like, the police can take that money, confiscate it, and then you have to prove from where that money came from. It's already like that, and it's a bill they passed blaming the people that work under the table. They're giving themselves the right in this bill to actually ask your internet company for all your information without any warrant. Barton actually starts saying that this bill, that these ideas that are controversial in this bill are ideas that came from Stephen Harper. She's trying to make Canadians believe right here. Well, she actually probably succeeded because there's a lot of sheep in Canada, but she's trying to tell people that this part of the bill that people don't like, it's the Conservatives that came up with it.
Laws has 16 parts. And I think we need to go beyond the headlines on this bill, because the things that the government says that this bill is about, I don't think most people will find them controversial when it comes to, like, how you classify drugs, for example, and some of the powers that you're giving authorities to crack down on organized crime. Law enforcement agencies have clearly used this opportunity to sneak things in here that have been vetoed by lawmakers previously in at least 2 or 3 different parliaments, because they were seen as going too far. There are things here that to me make, like, frankly no sense and are a real dangerous slippery slope, and I worry that there's not enough public scrutiny on it. For example, you can ask, like, your internet service provider to hand over your information voluntarily, any information they legally hold about you, and the government will protect them from being criminally or civilly sued. They don't have to get a warrant. They can just ask for it. And these are heavily regulated industries, so they would have an incentive to just be like, okay, well, I don't want to cause any problems with the government. It's just filled with little example like that throughout the bill. And you realize what it means when there is no NDP, for example, there to raise the concerns, because some of the things that were raised and were not passed were because of the NDP and the Bloc in previous parliaments.
Yeah, I mean, it is remarkable that those things that Althea is talking about there, Chantal, are conservative. They're conservative ideas, policy ideas that didn't make it through in Stephen Harper's government being brought back here. I mean, you can like them or hate them, but they are stolen or borrowed from a previous conservative government.
Well, I'm told by people who know better than I do that the civil service, as it should, looking at the probability of a conservative government, did draft a few bills, and that they provided the canvas for legislation such as this one. But it is clearly a Trojan horse legislation, and I find that very troubling. Beyond the substance, I totally agree with Althea on the substance. I am troubled by the notion that we have a new government that believes that it should introduce such measures under the guise of reinforcing the border. It speaks to the opposite of transparency, wanting to have debate and get to the best legislation for Canadians. This one infringes on privacy rights in a way that no legislation I've seen before come forward, and it is not even the point of the bill.
No. It does make me wonder, too, Andrew, whether what you said was right, whether some of this is something that the U.S. is asking for, and it's an attempt to placate them. But I have no idea if that's true.
It's hard to know where this comes from. It certainly wasn't talked about in any great detail before this. No. You do get the feeling this was sort of on the shelf somewhere because there's a permanent element of the bureaucracy that's always pushing for this kind of thing, particularly the law and order part of it.
This bill was 100% liberal. None of these ideas came from the Conservatives. None of them. None whatsoever. This bill was tabled by the Liberals. It's Bill C-63, and they moved parts of Bill 63, the Online Harms Act. They moved part of that bill in this border security bill that was actually I'm pretty sure wasn't tabled by this public safety minister, because he's an absolute idiot. I have never seen someone so stupid. And you'll see a lot of videos about this guy and how stupid he actually is, man. This dude is incompetent. So give me a break when you're trying to make us believe that this guy actually tabled this bill. I'm pretty sure he can't even write a whole paragraph in English. I'm going to leave it at that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thanks for watching.